Hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. I actually stopped by an antique store the other day and I was able to find a few treasures. So let's walk over here to the table and I'll show you. So I was visiting some family from out of state and happened to run by a little antique shop, and I actually found these items over in the corner. Now this first item right here is a small corner plane. What it does is it rounds the corner off, kind of like a router would do. This is what it looks like. It's got just a real fine little bitty chisel right here on the bottom, and then of course this wedge holds it in there, and you just basically slide it along the edge and it rounds the corner off. So they actually had another one that was very similar to this, and the blade, what you did was, like if you struck a line, or maybe if you wanted to do it on the corner, making some sort of like tongue and groove, one of them you would slide straight down the line if you wherever you wanted, like a channel, like right here in the middle of the table, dug out. The more you did it, the deeper it would go actually. But I couldn't find the one that made the tenon on the end, so I left the other one. But there's lots of antique shops around here. I'm going to try to find that those two that match, and actually, well, they don't match, but they go together, what I'm saying. And that way I'll be able to do some tongue and groove, which would be kind of nice to have. But anyway, this is a real little treasure right here. It's in great shape. The blade needs to be touched up just a little bit, but what I need to do is find me some sort of a file to do that, or order a really thin round stone in order to be able to do that. But anyway, I was really happy to run into this right here. I've seen these used before, but I've never had one, so at least I've got one now for just basically rounding the corner off. The other thing that I was able to find was this cool mallet. I went up to my neighbor's house earlier and took these up there for him to see it, and he said, well, this one right here is Osage orange, this head. I'm not really sure. It looks like it's got a coat of varnish on it, but it is still just as solid as it was probably as the day that it was built. It didn't have too much wear on it, so they didn't want much for it, so I went ahead and bought it because I'm always using mallets around here. I made one the other day, but I think that this one might be just a little bit heavier. So I was curious because the other day when I put my handle in there, I put my handle in with the grain so that when I was hitting the chisel, it would be hitting against the grain, which made sense to me. But now this handle is put in so that when you hit, you're actually hitting with the grain, because the grain runs this way. So I'm not sure exactly, but I'll have to look up that kind of information to see which way you're actually supposed to situate the handle. Because, you know, most of the ones that I ever did was I carved them out of a single piece. They weren't a two-piece like this. But anyway, I do have the one that I made the other day, and I also have this one right here, so I'll have a whole lot of work ahead of me with a couple of really nice mallets. And then the third thing that I was able to find was this really nice, this is a Fulton plane. I don't know, I think it's like about 14 inches long, and it is really in great shape. I mean, just take a look at that. That is in fine shape. The bottom, there's not hardly any rust on it anywhere. They probably had taken really good care of it. The blade does need to be sharpened, but I was just trying it out to see how these things work, and just like they are, well, you've seen in the video there, they're not doing too bad a job. So just a little bit of touch-up, some sharpening. I need to go and check all the screws and make sure that they're tight. This back handle just a little bit slides left to right, but like I said, that's not a big deal. But yeah, I was able to land these three items to go into my woodworking tools, and I'm really proud to have them. I've got a plane like this, but it's probably a third the size smaller. I didn't have one of these mallets I have, but when I seen this one, I thought that's almost like brand new right there. So I went ahead and picked it up because, like I said, they didn't want that much for it. Now, if you've watched a number of our videos, you will know that I use power tools as well as hand tools. When I first started up here with the channel, I had a complete set of tools that were corded and a generator, and that's what I was using. Then my son, he basically replaced everything or added two with battery operated tools so that I could use those being off grid up here. And that has really come in handy. You know, the technology that they've got with battery operated tools now, with general use, I can pretty much go all day long. Now, if I'm doing something that is any length of time, then I will pull out the corded tool, crank up the generator, and do that so that I don't have to wear out the batteries, and I can continue to use those, you know, for just general use. But I will tell you this, with my hand tools that I've got and that I use, and I'm collecting more, compared to either the battery or the corded tools, there's honestly a big difference in using tools like this, because when you use those, when you're done, you get a lot more satisfaction other than just accomplishing the project that you started out to do. But there's a lot more satisfaction in arriving at the same destination using a hand tool and the work that you had to do to get there. It's a lot more rewarding using tools like this. Now, they're not nearly as fast as the power tools, but like I said, when you're done, there's a lot more satisfaction because you basically carved it by hand. You know, you're still using a tool, but it was done by hand. It was done by elbow grease. It was done the old-fashioned way, and like I said, there's a lot more satisfaction in doing things that way. Let's take, for example, these posts that you guys have been watching me work on the main channel. After I got all the mortises and the tenons and everything laid out, dug out, whittled out and everything, I took the adze and I actually chipped the outside of this to make it look old-fashioned. So working the way that they did back in the day using the hand tools, not only can you get the look that they did, but you can also get the satisfaction that those people, I'm sure, had to have, because it is so fun to work with those tools compared to the power tools that I've got. Now, they didn't have the option of either or like I do. They didn't have power back then. They didn't have battery operated tools. They had the tools like I'm showing you over there. But I'll tell you what, if they were able to have that technology, I'm sure that they would have enjoyed as much as I do, because I have all three. Like I said, the satisfaction that you get in being able to actually do it by hand. Now, they could have done things a whole lot faster like I can do with the corded and the powered tools, but I'll tell you what, it is a whole lot of fun to use those hand tools. And here's another thing too. If something ever happened to power, or if you couldn't charge your batteries, you couldn't use either of the other two, the corded equipment or the battery operated equipment, you would have to use older tools like that. So being able to have the skill to do that means a great deal, because you can still continue to plan, work, and achieve the same results that you set out to do, regardless of what it is. So if you've never had any hand tools like this and you've never used any, my suggestion is go pick you up something, just anything. It could be a hand plane, and try it out and see if what I'm telling you isn't true. There is a lot of fun in using hand tools like this, like I say, when you're building to do your project, and I think that you'll find that you'll have the same fun that I do. Well, friends, we don't want to take up too much time because we know that this is a holiday week and you're visiting with family and friends. We just wanted to share with you some of the treasures that we were able to find. We want to wish each and every one of you traveling mercies, and we hope that you enjoy your time with family, enjoy the holiday. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. Take care. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.